And now all I do is daydream.
One of the many questions that I receive is, LaDale, how do I get into those rooms? Well, this interview series is just for you. So welcome to the room.
We on now. They respect us cause we on now. Money up, run the whole town, don't we? This power money can't slow down. Money won't slow down.
Guys, what's good, man? It's your partner Dale back in the saddle again for another Countermove podcast, the interview series. And guys, I have a special guest for this one, man. You've heard me talk about a company, and I have the shirt on called American Rounds. They became a little bit of a sponsor for us as well. But the good thing about it is today I actually have the CEO, Grant Majors, in the seat, man. Grant, how you doing, big time? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, man.
Yes, sir, man. This is going to be a very good conversation, guys, because this man right here, although he's very mild-mannered, he can get a little spicy a little bit as well also. But man, he's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to business. So man, let's start right here, man. Who is Grant Majors?
I'm a serial entrepreneur, I guess. You know, I was never one of those guys who just punch in a clock.
Yeah.
And so when I was growing up, my dad worked for pretty large company, did really well.
Yeah.
He hit, I don't know, around 50 years old. The company let him go. You know, hey, we can hire someone for less money, younger. And I remember seeing that. It kind of stuck with me. And then I was like, I really don't see the value in punching in, punching out, building somebody else's wealth.
Yeah.
Within just the ability to say, hey, we're going to let you go when you hit an age that is no longer valuable to us, and we can get more out of someone younger. So from then time on, man, since I can remember, it was always serial entrepreneurship and constantly building businesses.
Cool, man. Tell us about your business background, man. You've been a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
What businesses have you invested in, built? How big did they go, man? Give us a little bit of your resume, your background.
Well, so just background, education-wise, I went to Texas Tech. I did my undergrad and a master's of science degree there. And then I went to SMU, did an MBA.
Okay.
I've been a part of just, the thing about doing startups are, it's high risk, high reward business.
It is.
Right? And not everybody has the stomach for that.
I agree.
Because they don't, how many of them, start, fail. And I've had my share of start, fails. And with each one, you're learning.
Sure.
You're getting more information.
Sure.
You're doing it better the next time.
Yeah.
So true story.
Okay.
So I worked for a company called Newland Communities when I was pretty young, probably around 28, that age. And we were a team of three. My group was a team of three. We were in charge of all the technology specifications for big master plan communities.
Okay.
Right. And within that, we had these community web portals. So this is before MySpace, way before Facebook, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we had these community web portals, with message boards and RSS news feeds.
Yeah,
and I mean, you know, so if you were back in the day, you kind of remember when that stuff was just developing.
Yeah.
So we were doing that. And I was watching the writing on the wall with media and newspapers, right? Mm-hmm. And so this was really my first entrepreneurial thought processing and output.
Ah, okay.
'Cause I saw this opportunity to create these community portals, and we started creating them for not just the smaller development communities, but for, you know, cities and things like that. And we had, it's essentially what we were creating what Facebook and those groups became before that ever.
Wow.
You know, before Zuckerberg was even around.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the, back then you had what was called CLEC versus ILEC.
Sure.
So you had incumbent local exchange carriers or competitive local exchange carriers.
Sure.
And I worked with a lot of CLECs in our community. And so one of the CEOs, a gentleman named Rich Gerstenmaier, really became a mentor of mine.
Okay.
And kind of started helping me build business plans, build pro formas, started teaching me how to pitch investors. Okay. And that was really my first big experience. I sat down, I got to pitch a $1 billion VC firm in Houston. You know, and you walk in, just a kid, I walk in and there's all these IPO stock certificates lining the walls. And it was like, you know, it was like something out of a movie.
Yeah.
You know? And it was a great experience. And they told me that newspapers would never die, by the way. They turned us down. And we were never able to get that project really accelerated off the ground because back then, you know, people just didn't believe yet that newspapers were going to die. So that brought us kind of to where we are today. You know, all my entrepreneurial experience, it kind of kicked it off because I had a really good mentor when I was young. And oddly enough, it's kind of a parallel situation to where we are today with what we're doing with American Rounds.
Yeah.
You know, when you're on the threshold of being a innovator, right? Innovators tend to get eaten alive.
They do.
Because a lot of times they're ahead of the curve, and the market hasn't responded or accepted the next change agent that's going to really impact, you know, the economy, commerce, things like that.
Yeah.
You know, the internet was a great one. You know, just kind of like when the innovators came out, you know, before the crash, the .com crash, you know, and everybody was just, you know, popping out websites, and it was a lot, you know. What happened then was, right, we really didn't have the infrastructure to do all the things that all these companies were wanting to do. They all had the vision for it, but the infrastructure wasn't there yet. So sometimes when you're on that innovative cusp and you're right before the, you know, as the curve is building, as that wave is building, sometimes you're just, if you're on that innovation early stage, you know, there's a high risk because we got to bring the market to it. But man, that's where the big reward is when you can make that transition, and you can go from the innovation to growth. That's really where, you know, the opportunity exists, and kind of what charges me up and why I love being.
This guy Grant is he's an innovative thinking type of guy. He's going 100 miles an hour all the time, which is why I think he's a good CEO. Now let's transition over to American Rounds.
Sure.
This is the company that you're the current CEO on. What is American Rounds? What is it about? And why is it so good?
So, again, that entrepreneurial process that I was always a part of, I got into the hemp space, 5 or 6 years ago, really before it took off, before we had one in every corner. My partner in American Rounds, Lawrence, he was our supplier. We were both in that space. Anyway, just kind of bringing it, long story short, as we got into that, I sold the company to a group in New York. We brought Lawrence in with us. We started doing manufacturing, and it led down this road post-COVID. It led down this road to where we got introduced to automated retail. Right, so using AI technology for automated retail. And what happened was COVID really kind of sparked more of an interest in that, because if we remember, right, it was people were having trouble finding employees after COVID.
Correct.
Right? People didn't want to go back to work, so a lot of your retail, your grocery store, your C-store, just other type of retailers, they struggled when, to find that staff, and it just made it difficult. So this automation piece, can we convert retail into an automated structure? Well, Amazon's doing that already. There's full-on Amazon stores.
Correct.
And overseas, they're 5 to 10 years ahead of us in that space. And they're doing it.
Yeah.
So so Lawrence and I had an opportunity to get into that space on the hemp business.
Yeah.
And we had some interest.
Yeah.
And as we started talking to the retailers, they came to us and they said, well, we love hemp and that's great and it's a good business and all, but our customers want ammo.
Yeah.
So can you do an ammo automated retail machine?
Yeah.
And then that was it. I mean, it was like, the answer was yes. I mean, I didn't even hesitate. The answer was yes, we can do that. Called Lawrence, and between the two of us, we had we had the sourcing, the resources to put together. Wow. And then that was born, 6 or 8 months ago.
It was. And full disclosure, guys, I am a partner in American Rounds. And kind of to unpack it a little bit, I'm sitting at my home office. I get a phone call from Grant, and he says, "Hey, LaDale, man, can I come by?" And I'm like, "For what?" And he says, "I got something to run by you." I'm like, "Grant, I get pissed all the time, man. Like, man, you got to see this. You got to see this deal, man." I said, "All right, come on by." He came by the house, and he began unpacking it with me of what this concept was of AI-powered, unattended. Really, it's a vending machine, but it's AI-powered. And I said, "Whoa!" And for me, guys, I'm a business guy, systems guy. I ain't know that much about ammo. And so I said, let me make a couple phone calls. So I called James Case and also Jason Hanna and also Matt Zapala. And Matt asked me a question. He said, "LaDale, what do you need to see for you not to invest?" I said, "I don't know anything about ammo." He said, "Well, you have anybody around you?" I said, "Grant, Lawrence, James, Jason, everybody knows about ammo." He said, "Make the investment." And I said, "All right, cool." I said, "I think this has a chance to be a $1 billion baby very easily if we do it right." And this guy's the right guy. Now, an AI-powered vending machine is not common when it comes to places. What is that? How does it work? Explain to everybody what's going on. How does it work?
All right, well, so the retailers, they were looking to move this direction because, like I said, staff issues. But what it also did was, particularly in the grocery store space. So in the grocery store space, we can take somebody like a Walmart, and you look at their model. Yeah. They've got groceries on one side, they got different hardline type products on the other side, everything from automotive to toys, to household items, and they also happen to have outdoors, right? So they're carrying ammo, fishing, and so a lot of these grocery stores in various towns, their biggest competitors, Walmart's sitting there.
Correct.
So the retailer is looking at, okay, how do I diversify my product line?
Yeah.
Right. Without increasing staff.
Yeah.
And drive more traffic into my store.
Sure.
And so for a lot of these retailers, they're in hunting communities. They're a little bit more rural.
Sure.
And they're like, man, that's where the whole idea of ammo coming into that, right, was to compete with that outdoors retailer and be more competitive with like a Walmart. So the machine concept was brought to us for that purpose, we started launching the machines. Obviously, the number one question when you start thinking about, okay, we're going to have an unattended, automated retail machine, which is really, like you said, a very high-end, a high-end vending machine.
Yes.
Kind of like what we see with, if you go to the movies now with the Cokes and you can select all your different flavors and blends, so think about that kind of high-end machine. Well, the first thing that came to our mind and everybody asked was, is this legal?
Yes.
Can we do that? Can we even sell that? So that was the first, the first thought. It really wasn't the technology of the machine. The technology of the machine is there. It's been used for a lot of different things. Yeah. They've been around for quite a while. It was really COVID again driving it to the retailer now. But is it legal? So, and the answer was, well, it depends. Yeah. The answer from a standpoint of selling ammo, yes, it's legal.
Yeah.
But there are qualifiers to that to ensure that it's legal.
Sure.
For instance, roughly around 85% of the states, and it might be a little bit higher than that, do not require what's called an FFL license to sell ammo.
Okay.
Right. So that means you can, as long as you're not importing ammunition, but just as domestic sales, you are able to sell ammunition as a retailer.
Yeah.
And so that was one qualifier. Great. Yeah. We can check that. We can check that box. B was okay. So what are the age requirements? Mm-hmm. So in most states, again, it depends. In most states, state by state, it's 18 for shotgun and rifle. Mm-hmm. Basically, you're hunting. And then 21 for handgun. Yeah. But that can even vary between states. So for instance, like in Alabama, you'd be 21 for 9mm or 22 rounds even. Yeah. So what we just decided to do was, set a 21, just a flat 21 age limit. Mm-hmm. One of the things the software doesn't do right now is allow us to age specify by product type. Sure. So just to make sure we're compliant with regardless of state we went in, we just set the age limit at 21. Mm-hmm. And so the technology of the machine has the ability to determine that. Okay. So you scan your ID, and then it does a facial recognition to verify you are who you are to your ID. It matches that and says, okay, you're age appropriate. Gotcha. And eligible legally to purchase. Gotcha. Okay. Okay. And so that gives us the age requirement match, right? So there's A and B. So we've got that. Then the third part that you have to do is you have to maintain certain records for so many months, and that varies again by state. Mm-hmm. And so because our records are digital, we're able just to store those records of our sales, and we have that information. Mm-hmm. So we meet all the criteria necessary for retail sales of ammunition. So the way ammunition is sold today is you go into your local sporting goods store, okay? Yeah. Just generically, and it sits on a shelf. Okay. Right. Now, I've gone into, you and I've sent you pictures and we've talked about this, right? Yes, I've gone into some of these stores, right? Half the time you can't find anybody to assist you if you don't, if there's nobody in sight. Yeah, and you can go. It doesn't matter almost which one you go into, but it's very hard to find a customer service person being there. That's really important because this is ammunition that is just sitting openly on a shelf, no different than apples sitting in a grocery store. Correct. You're going to throw them in a bag. You correct. Right. So you have this ammo sitting there. In fact, one location that we went into, I sent you a picture of. Right. So there's an ammunition AR-15 level ammunition, and the box is literally open, sitting on the shelf. So you can easily, take that, dump it into your backpack, pocket, purse, walk right out the door. Nobody even knows. There wasn't a soul around. There was nobody making sure. And I can just tell you as a shooter, I like to shoot. I'm not a big hunter, but I do like to go to the range and shoot with my boys and things. I've never been ID'd one time for ammo at a retailer. I grew up shooting since I was young.
No, I noticed that as well. I went to a local Cabela's, and when I was going through the due diligence of this, and I walked in, I was like, man, this is odd. You just walk in, this grip like it's some candy. Just walk in and walk out. Yeah. I was like, whoa, nope, just walk out. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa. And I saw most of the action at a Cabela's was really behind the counter when it came to firearms.
That's for sure. Absolutely.
And I just said, I'm assuming that the delta there is more apropos for the distributor when it comes to firearms, right? Not so much ammo. So if they could automate this type of process, this is a game changer for them. Then I did some research and I said, okay, wait a minute. How much of the sales of ammo do these big box stores actually do when it comes online? 15%. It's very little. I just said, this is a huge space. Now, let's pivot over. You gave me the legality perspective. Now, if you could give me, why is buying ammo at a grocery store from a consumer-based standpoint so beneficial to the consumer?
It's convenience. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a convenience factor.
Okay.
Right. There's a couple of, we talk about convenience and we talk about the security. The convenience factor is just phenomenal because I can tell you, again, just someone who likes to go to the range with my kids, I don't think about necessarily, it's not one of those things I think about. I'm like, oh man, I might cross my mind once in a while, I should go down and buy some more, 9mm or 40 cal or whatever it is because I'm gonna take the boys to the range. Or they wanna go shoot some clays. I need to go pick up some 20 gauge for my shotgun. Well, then I got to drive over to sporting goods store, which is a little bit further away. But now, if you're in a small town, you might drive, an hour to get to one of the major sporting goods store locations. For sure, 30 minutes or so. The convenience factor is that I can go across the street to my grocery store. Yeah. Right. And I'm picking up whatever it is I want to pick up. Yeah. I'm already spending $300 on groceries as it is with the economy the way it is and the expensive as it's gotten. Yeah. What's another $20 to pick up a box of ammo while I'm there? And then, keeping my stock of ammo current and up to date so I'm not out when I want to go to the range. Or if I am out when I go to the range, it's literally right across the street. I just go to the grocery store, I pick it up, and it takes just a few seconds and I'm out the door. Go to the range, you wait to go to the range, you run out. I mean, you're paying, they've got you convenience there at the range and you're already paying for range time and now you're getting 30% higher markup on your ammo and you're paying more for it. So I just think there's a convenience factor that's really good. We wanted to create availability in the space. It's not just and the grocery stores wanted that to drive that traffic. Sure. They're creating diversity in their product offering. Sure. So this is a good one for them. I think the other thing is we just talked about. I mean, obviously, why it's important is the safety reason, right? We do take extreme safety precautions on selling firearms as we should, and it's a constant political battle, regardless of what side of the fence you're on that. We all agree. I think we all agree that there has to be some level of safety, and good firearm owners, good gun owners agree with that. Yeah, and so there's appropriate checks and background checks and waiting periods and all the different things depending on the state you're in and federally, that you have requirements. Well, like we said, there's really nothing there ammo-wise. Correct. You just grab it and go. Well, I mean, your firearm doesn't work without the ammo. Correct. Right. So we add a level just to safety and security, right? We verify the right age, we have the record, we know, it's not just a cash transaction. Now, a lot of people, they get itchy, they're like, oh, okay, you're doing a facial recognition, you're grabbing an ID. We don't sell that information. That information is purely for compliance we have to keep records of the sale. Correct. Right? And we want to be responsible to who we're selling our ammo to. We can't have a 12-year-old going up who stole snag dad's ID. Or Uncle Bob's ID and is over there swiping it and he's, trying to get a box of ammo. So, we got to do things the right way. And so, security, convenience, all the different typical factors I think you would look for in a product like this. That actually makes a lot of sense. That's one thing that attracted me to this is the camera recognition type of scenarios. That's the same technology that the TSA uses, which is kind of crazy. Right, yeah, so it is. It actually, you can't just hold a picture up. Correct. Right? It's going to have you smile at the camera or move your head. It's going to verify you're a real person and that's who you are to the ID. Yeah. Good stuff, man. Now, man, what locations are we currently at now, and what do you see it going in the future? I tell you, this is the growth models is starting to snowball. That snowball is getting bigger. It is. And bigger, and that's exciting, right? So that's the part of being an entrepreneur that you get excited about. And that lends itself to a whole different set of challenges. Yes. But that's okay. We've got a great operational team, and I'm not concerned about that. But it is starting to snowball. We are currently, we launched our first 2 machines in Alabama. So Pell City, Alabama, at Fresh Value Grocery Store, and then at Fresh Value Grocery Store in Tuscaloosa. Yeah. We are Over the next 4 weeks, we'll be putting 4 machines into Oklahoma, okay, at Super C locations.
Okay.
Then, right now, we have requests for machines in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Michigan, Indiana, and Washington State.
Wow.
Already.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where we're starting just to take reservations for machines.
Yeah.
So as we can get them out as we get them off the line produced.
Yeah.
And obviously it's where my partners come into play to help us.
Yes.
Financially make that viable,
That is
fund
correct.
that, and get that scale the company the appropriate way. When you've got to have that, and that's obviously maybe the tougher part than actually getting them produced.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that tough because it's so much value there.
Yeah.
Safety, convenience, and there's an appetite from a consumer-based standpoint.
Yeah.
In the next 12, 24 to 36 months, how many locations do you think that will actually be in?
Well, we're getting ready to start manufacturing another 18 machines.
Okay.
Okay, that's going to put us at 24. The discussion has been since somewhere around Q3, Q4 to look at a production of around about 30 machines.
Okay.
50. We are anticipating reservations for over 300 machines by the end of March. So, and hopefully to be able to roll out somewhere between 50 and 100 machines this year, and then and just keep it going, just keep it moving, and if in 18 months we could have 150 machines, I think that would be a huge win.
What valuation do you see this company getting to in the next 24, 36 months?
Oh, from a valuation standpoint.
Yeah.
That's valuation. Really early stage money, pre-money valuations are, they're projections.
Sure.
They're hard. You're looking at a lot of industry comparisons and things like that
Sure.
to create that value. And early stage money valuations can be just as tricky because you're still projecting a degree of scale and a buy-in.
Correct.
One of the things that we've learned in this is that there's a learning curve with the technology.
Correct.
So people are, they will go out, they'll buy ammo right now off the shelf, but getting them to think, oh, I'm at the grocery store, I can pick up some ammo, and I go to the screen and I touch it, and there's still a little bit of a technology transition. Remembering, it's at the grocery store, I can grab it there. So a lot of that marketing and that push, will escalate sales over time. So, I think I'd be crystal balling it to try to tell you it's
I agree with that.
it's going to be $40 million valuation in the next 24 months. I don't, but I do think what we're going to see is if we look at it through like a perpetuity type of forecast, and we were going to run a really strong financial model to perpetuity, and what does this company look like, and it's going to grow. It is that kind of money. Yeah. There's no question it's that kind of money.
It is, and there's a logistical side on this when it comes to delivery as well. Also, that we haven't even dove into, guys. I've been doing a lot of research on Amazon's logistical model. It is so profound how they actually run it.
Yeah,
it outperforms the U.S. Postal Service, UPS, and FedEx. It's crazy, and to thinking about how me and Grant have these discussions offline, and we'll talk about that type of stuff as well also. And when it comes to Amazon, a big part of the evaluation is the delivery model as well also. Yeah. So it's crazy, man. If you could, man, as we end that discussion, look over to your camera over there, man, and tell them why American Rounds is a good model to trust, a good brand to trust, and also tell them where they can find you at.
Yeah, so the retail space is moving towards automated retail. It's an inevitability. We're going to see more. We already have requests for other products. We've had requests for golfing products, fishing products, alcohol. We've had requests for, in fact, I believe it's Modelo, one of the beer companies. I want to say it's Modelo. They're actually doing automated retail machines already. We've had other opportunities that have already presented themselves.
Right.
So it's going this way. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a convenience factor. It's a safety factor. We're able to scale larger, faster, because we're not having to buy big retail locations. We're using existing retail locations. Mm-hmm. That allows us to drive price down and pass it on to the consumer and have competitive pricing. Right? Mm-hmm. We have competitive pricing with any other retailer out there at any of our machines. We can see all our machines digitally, mm-hmm. cost compare, hit a few keystrokes, and be competitive mm-hmm. in any market at any machine, depending on whatever specials are running, what's going on. So, if we look at it just from affordability, convenience, safety, and security, American Rounds makes a lot of sense in the ammunition industry. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It does.
So AmericanRounds.com, that's the best way to find us. All the social media buttons.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, et cetera, X. Yeah. All those are on there linked up, and you can follow us. And, we just appreciate the support, appreciate the time today.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Man, this has been a great conversation. I told you this is going to be really good. I think Grant he's very humble, but he's a very wise man when it comes to business and finance, things of that nature. But he can be a little firecracker sometimes, which is what I like about him, which is good. Well, guys, man, thank you so much for your time, man. And thanks for blessing us with your time for another edition of the Countermove Podcast, the interview series. And we see you next time. God bless you guys. Peace.
Long live the king.